times when life is uncertain, you always look at education. But we are in the times of pandemic when even the academic year is uncertain. आम्ही काही दिसा पयलीं वेगवेगळ्या विशयांचेर उलयताले आमी एड्युकेशन इन्स्टिट्यूट्सां कडेन उलयता जस्ट टू अंडरस्टँड वॉट इज द पर्स्पेक्टीव. काही विक्स पयलीं आमी अशेंच कॉम्पिटिटीव एग्जाम जे आसा जे गोंया खातीर मातशें एक नवीनशें बट फाटले काही वर्सां हे पिकअप जाता भुरग्यां मदीं हातूंत इंट्रस्ट आसा. कॉम्पिटिटीव एग्जामी बद्दल ह्या पॅन्डेमिकान कशी हिट जाला ऑब्वियसली स्टुडंट्स हू आर प्रिपेरींग तांच्यांनी कशें ह्याच्या कडेन फुडें पळोवचें आनी वॉट इज बेसिकली द सिट्युएशन ह्या विशयाचेर आमी एक चर्चा केल्ली आनी तेन्ना आसले आमच्या वांगडा प्रिमियर इन्स्टिट्यूट जे गोंयान आसा स्टेलर अकॅडमींतले डायरेक्टर योगेंद्र बाब आसले आमच्या वांगडा. आयज आवर्जून ऑन डिमांड म्हणजे आमकां प्रश्न बरेच आयले आफ्टर दॅट एपिसोड वॉज एड खुबशे वेगवेगळे प्रश्न आयले आवर्जून तुमच्या रिक्वेस्टाचेर आमी परत आयज आमच्या बरोबर आसा डिरेक्टर ऑफ स्टेलर अकॅडमी योगेंद्र सरजी. सर, welcome to the show. First time when we spoke, it was a Zoom meeting that we had. It was a virtual interview.
Yes, sir.
Things have not changed. We are still wearing the mask. You are wearing the mask. We are maintaining social distance. I would want to know how has things panned out over the course of time?
Basically, it is very difficult to maintain the tempo which we had earlier before the pandemic and lockdown. But still, as human, as in academy, as in employer, we are trying to give our best. As an educator also, we are trying to give our best to our students, and we are trying to maintain their level and tempo also, because they are also feeling a little low because they are unable to attend lectures, they are not able to come to us. So these are the challenges which we are facing and which everyone is facing across the world, not just us. Each one of us are facing the same problems.
Okay, you said in terms of challenges, there is a lot of guidelines that the government has placed, both the center as well as the state. Now, a lot, as in the airlines, the transport system has opened up. The restaurants have opened, the malls have opened with certain SOPs. Now, what is your perspective? How can educational institutes, whether it is the schools, colleges, even the coaching classes, how do they open and how do they incorporate all the SOPs and we function during the pandemic?
It's a very important question, and it is good that you have raised this, because what we are observing across the world, that people are in a situation when they are not able to decide what to do and what not to do. But at the same time, we cannot let things stop. There cannot be a deadlock that things are not moving at all. So what we should do is, there should be different strategies for a different age group. For primary section, what I personally feel is that until and unless this situation and threat reduces, they should not be exposed to this kind of environment. So if possible and if situation demands, we should think of giving them automatic upgradation for primary section. For middle section, what we should do is, there are certain learning objectives. As in educators, we expect that yes, they should learn these many concepts, these many skills. So that thing should be told to them. They should be given a number of questions that you should prepare all these questions, and when they are ready with that, they should be evaluated. So their interaction with the school will be limited, physical interaction I am talking, and that will be only to write exams. So that should be the strategy for middle section. For 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, scenario should be different. For 9th and 10th, what I think is that there should be a hybrid model, that they should be taught through online, and that online should be evaluated by offline tests. Test, if you see in a year, there are limited number of tests, and those can be conducted maintaining social distancing also, maintaining safety precautions also. So for 9th and 10th, that hybrid model should be there, that teaching part should be done through online and testing should be done through offline. For 11th and 12th, as now those students are going to write exams, they are going to choose a career, they are going to compete for the competitions which are held at all India level. So what is needed to be done is, they need to be taught extensively and their rigorous testing should be done. So this should be the way out rather than keeping everything at halt, because life should move on and we should learn how to live with this kind of situation.
I think testing is something that we've heard this word quite often. When education is this part, or even the
Correct.
pandemic is part. Sir, I would like to know. You said the online series. When we spoke last time, you spoke about your virtual learning as well.
Correct.
You have this platform. In that sense, it's been lockdown हुआ. उसके बाद it's 2-3 months now. How has been this response? How are you evaluating, your students? One, was it motivating, demotivating? And secondly, what is the comfort level from students? Because this is something that I had asked you last time also, and I want to know it again.
Correct.
Because this is a very new concept that,
Yes.
especially Goans are
Yes,
undergoing.
yes. So let me tell you, when last time you asked this question, we were also in the learning phase because we were not used to of that. But as few months have been passed now, and we also researched and gathered information that which can be the best way, we also experimented in that. And in that what we realized is that there are certain ways, if you implement them, then your delivery, content delivery and learning of student is very effective. So we have implemented all those things and response of that is quite good. I cannot say that students are getting 100% of the same effect which we were able to produce in our offline classes, but yes, up to 85-90% we are able to produce. The thing which we are lacking currently is evaluation part. Evaluation in the sense, when a student is coming to you, you are able to judge that okay, how much this student has grasped. But in virtual world, when you are not in contact with the student physically, you are not able to see how he or she is learning.
Reacting. Yeah.
So that reaction part we are not able to get. So only a certain students who are effectively participating in learning, they are asking questions, their output we are able to gauge, but for rest of the student we are unable to gauge that. We are also trying to find out methods so that their input can also be attained and observed.
Okay. Sir, very important thing is, since we are in this new normal, I would say, I always say this particular thing, as an academy, as a premier academy into this competitive exam coaching, in terms of implementing those SOPs, in terms of getting this virtual knowledge across, is there a tremendous efforts that go, or is it a little easy kind of an affair?
Actually, let me tell you, it's a very challenging question. Reason is not every teacher is at same level. You cannot expect everyone to deliver with the same efficiency as you yourself are delivering. So what we are doing basically is, of entire our team, those teachers who are facing slight difficulties in certain parts, whether it is delivering a lecture effectively, or after delivery maintaining rapport with the students, or ensuring that they are doing homework at home, or further interaction with them, we are training them for that also. We are motivating them, and yes, they are coming up with very good output also. So again, it's an evolving model which is coming up with the time. So we are trying to give things in a much better way.
So this is implemented both at Porvorim campus as well as the Margao
both,
campus.
Both. In fact, let me tell you honestly, as it is going online, so it is immaterial whether you are teaching for Porvorim students or for Margao students. In fact, one of our teacher, he is still not in Goa. He is taking classes from Delhi because he is stuck before pandemic. But he is teaching effectively. Students are learning quite well.
So there are advantages and disadvantages. I think we have to, as you clearly said, you have to just keep on moving ahead.
Correct.
You can't wait for something, a miracle to happen rather. Yes. That is a very important thing. The NEET and JEE 2020 exams, I believe they are getting postponed. If this gets postponed, then what is your opinion? The reason why I'm asking you in context to Goa is because lockdown happened when we were already in the schedule of exams.
Yes.
There are a few papers which got stuck and got postponed. Now there is a hue and cry happened in terms of students, in terms of parents as well as teachers, saying that they are stressed. This is getting, usually the exams happens maybe on a 20-day schedule, but this is getting prolonged, and they are still So physically as well as mentally, it is a big challenge. So now that NIT and JEE exams might get postponed, what is your opinion on this particular aspect?
See, as an academician, what I personally feel is that exam should not be delayed. Reason is, see, a board exam is different and a competitive exam is different. A board exam is taken so that a student can be carry forwarded to next class. He can be shifted to next class. But in competitive exam, you are selected students to take admission into premier colleges. Correct? Now, admission into premier colleges cannot be taken just by checking at faces, or you cannot decide that this year we are going to take through percentage, because then people are going to raise objection, because rules and regulations are different. You cannot suddenly change it. So you have to conduct the exam, correct? Without conducting exam, you cannot take admissions. Now, based on these admissions, these premier college students exam, admissions to other colleges are also hampered. So we need to take care of all these students which are there in India. And if you are not doing that, entire academic year is getting postponed, which is going to affect us a lot in terms of productivity. We are anyway short in number of doctors and engineers in India. Engineers now we have many, but number of doctors are yet not sufficient. So we need to somehow anyhow manage and ensure that exam is to be conducted. So that should be done by the authorities. They should ensure that it is done with the maximum precautions. Whatever safety rules and regulations they need to follow, they should do that. But exam should be conducted, because there is one more reason. Those students who have worked hard for the entire year, let me tell you honestly, those students and their parents are wanting that somehow this exam should be conducted so that they can move forward and they can get admission in college.
Okay, now very important aspect in terms of student. Now he's prepared for so long, he is there on the verge of answering. Whatever the result is a different case. But then again, things have got stuck now. As you say, it might get postponed, it might happen also. Students who have been demotivated, there is some aspect of demotivation also happens, and it hampers at this particular time when you are about to answer the exam. What is your message, especially heading this premier institute in Goa? What would be your message to all the fellow students who are listening to you?
See, what I am feeling is, in fact, I last time also told you that I am conducting their online classes every day. So yesterday only I talked to them. I told them that you should not lower your efforts due to any reason. If suppose exam is further getting delayed, then you should take this as a blessing in disguise. Anything in life you have to take it positively, because if you are not taking it positively, you have already given up. So that positivity needs to be maintained, and in tough time like this, that requires more. And also keep that thing in mind that whatever happens, it happens for good. Whichever is the higher power there which you believe and pray, think that that power is with you, and the best for you is going to happen to you all. So with that attitude and with that temperament, you should keep putting efforts for yourself, and think about your parents also, who have tremendous expectations from you.
True. I think this is the second time that we interact, and this is one important thing which I'd like to share in front of my viewers is, it's not a one-way delivery that is happening from the teachers, from your faculty to the students. It is other way also. You are considering the students' aspects also, whether it is physically or emotional attachment to the subject, or towards the career, or towards this institute. It's nice thing that you touch all these aspects, and in the entire functioning of yours. Now, one important thing, this I'd like to say on behalf of all the Goans. I never had a career plan, and so does a lot of students. There are few who are very focused, very niche, that they know this is the goal that they want to achieve, and this is the way they have to do the hard work. When students come to you, when parents come to you, now I don't want to get into the tussle of what the student wants to do or what the parents want them to become. When this career counseling plays a very important role, which I feel again in Goa on a mass scale doesn't happen. Whenever a student or a parent comes to your institute, how do you counsel in terms of choosing what he or she wants?
See, those students who come to us, we have a very simple method, and in that method, what we do is we give them a psychometric test.
Okay.
And based on that psychometric test, they get evaluated on their personality types, and based on that, we can tell them clearly that which profession, which career will be most suitable for them. So that psychometric test can be evaluated, and the good thing is that this is not just for our student. If any students who is in a fix that he or she is unable to decide, they can come to our centers or offices and they can write that psychometric test for free. We don't charge for that also, because not everything should be done for monetary basis. So any student who wants to know that which career is good for them, they can come and write the psychometric test.
I think a very interesting thing. I think anyone who intends to have a career in competitive exam, especially in terms of medicals or engineering, I think you should do visit this institute. And as sir mentioned, this test is completely free. It will clear your doubts. It will clear your focus as in what you want to pursue. Now, a very interesting thing is there is something called as smart work and there is something called as hard work. How effortlessly you do and you achieve your goal is the key element. When students enter, would you like to evaluate him on his intelligence or whether he's hardworking? How do you identify a student whether he can cope up to this competitive exam and make a mark for himself?
Actually, these days in society, we have made a very wrong way of judging a person. We judge person for his intelligence, and intelligence is evaluated on the basis of marks. Though we don't have any other way to evaluate a person's intelligence, but in my opinion, a person should be judged for his sincerity. If a student is sincere, then that good result can be produced. A sincere student is willing to work hard. So if hard work and sincerity is there, even ordinary students can produce extraordinary result. And if suppose sincerity and hard work is not there, even good intelligent students, sometimes they are not able to produce that good result. So the important aspect is sincerity. Your focus should be very clear that you want to do this, and with sincerity you should be ready to work hard. And if it is mixed with intelligence, then you can create a magical result. And even if suppose that intelligence is a little bit lacking, but sincerity and hard work is there, then good result can be produced with ordinary students also, which many other people are able to produce.
Okay, one very interesting question is this is when a student enters, enrolls with your academy, and then once he or she excels and gets a placement in a premier institute. Do you still continue the relationship with the student?
Yes.
Are there any examples? Because you've been
yes.
there for quite some time now.
Yes.
I think you'll have a lot of stories to tell.
In fact, let me tell you, all those students who have been taught by me, and especially those students who become something, because they feel more gratitude, and they are regularly in touch with me, whether I was in Rajasthan, Jaipur, or I am here in Goa for last 3 years, all such students are in contact with me. In fact, last year itself, more than 50 students taught by me are studying in GMC, in last year only. And if you add previous year to that, the number goes almost around 100. So 100 students are who are in GMC Goa Medical College, who are taught by me. They are in touch in one way or the other. Some calls me, some messages me. Most of the time, Teachers' Day, you get those messages.
They still remember you.
Yes, they still remember, and not just them, their parents also.
Okay.
So it's a good relation between a teacher and student.
That is amazing to know, sir. One again, another question is something that it struck me is across Goa, as I said, there is not much of an awareness in terms of taking competitive exam. We're still in that phase of taking academic years as we move on. Then choosing a subject when we are in 10th, then specialization. Again, as I said, we are not very much focused. When it comes to competitive exam, have you evaluated or maybe have you done your research in terms of visiting schools or understanding the student psyche, and how can you change this? Because I would love to see a lot of Goans, answering competitive exam. There is potential, as you said, there is hard work, there is sincerity in every Goan student, but there is some disconnect that has happened. How would you answer this?
Actually, for doing this, channelizing of efforts is required. What we need to do is, there can be seminars conducted in schools where our representative can go and talk to those students, and then they can tell that what all they can achieve while they are writing these exams. Suppose when you graduate from a premier college like IIT, NIT or medical colleges, your association is with entirely different class of students, and those people are going to be pioneer of society later. For example, if you talk about my college, I am from NIT Jaipur. The pass out of my college are at the topmost places in India. In fact, current MEA, External Affairs Secretary, he is from our college. So when you are from such a good college, you interact with quality people, you get good thoughts, and your way of working and operations is at entirely different level, which many people are not able to achieve because they remain in a limited way of thinking and a limited environment. So we need to come out of that shell, and we need to explore our full potential. And potential is tremendous that I have seen.
I think usually, sir, what happens is, I would like somebody to correct me if I'm wrong, is exams and tests scares us the most. Whether it is our academic exams or whether it is choosing a specialty in some of the field that we want to, the test or the exam is the biggest barrier. Crossing or maybe coming close to it is a challenge in itself. I think if that can be rectified, I think things can change for good.
Actually, that is happening because there is a wrong notion in our mind related to exam. We take exam just for getting marks. But the thing should be different. You should go to write exam to check yourself that how much you have learned from a particular topic, from a particular chapter, from a particular year, and how much you are able to reproduce that knowledge in yourself. So if your focus is on knowledge, then test won't be affecting you. That fear will not be there if you have studied for the knowledge. So knowledge aspect should be kept in mind. Once you start learning for knowledge, studying for knowledge, then exams won't be scaring you at all.
I think Yogendra ji, it's always pleasure. I think the first time I spoke, I kind of did my homework and got some questions. This time when we are speaking, the homework was less because a lot of students asked me, and I'm asking all these questions on behalf of them. I think I feel that I know everything about this institute and about the competitive exam. But the moment it will air, there are many questions that will come again, and I hope to catch you again in a very candid chat and discuss all the questions that are raised by our students. It was indeed pleasure, sir, for having us here and answering all the queries that all our students have. It was indeed pleasure. Thank you.
That is same for us, sir. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.